Summary: The Chunklings, the Not-So-Superheroes by Diane Alber. Intro. Welcome back, friends. Today we're diving into a story that's colorful, quirky, and full of heart. The Chunklings, the Not-So-Superheroes by Diane Alber. Now, this isn't your typical superhero story. There are no epic battles against villains, no shiny capes flapping in the wind, and no world-saving missions. Instead, what we get is something even better. A laugh-out-loud, sparkle-sprinkled, nacho-scented reminder that even the strangest, silliest talents can make a big difference. So, if you've ever wondered whether your quirks and oddities have value, or if you've ever wished your sneeze could be just a little more spectacular, then buckle up. Because the Chunklings are here to prove that superpowers don't have to make sense. They just have to matter. Section 1. Meet the Chunklings. Let's start by meeting our unusual heroes. The Chunklings aren't polished, perfect, or powerful in the traditional sense. They're this odd little group of sparkly, chaotic creatures who ended up with powers that, well, don't exactly scream superhero material. One glows, but only during the day. That means no cool glowing in the dark, no lighting up spooky places, no dramatic night rescues. Just daytime glowing, which, let's be honest, is about as useful as sunglasses at midnight. Another sneezes glitter confetti. Sounds fun, right? But imagine trying to fight crime when every sneeze turns into a craft store explosion. It's magical, sure, but also messy. And sneezy. And then there's the one who can make it rain. But only on themselves. Forget watering the plants or bringing relief to a parched desert. Nope. Just instant self-rain showers, like a personal portable thundercloud that refuses to share. Not exactly Avengers material, huh? But here's the thing. Diane Alber doesn't present these powers as failures. Instead, she uses them to flip the script on what it means to be special. Because maybe, just maybe, you don't have to save the whole world to be a hero. Sometimes it's enough to just make someone's day a little brighter or glitterier. Section 2. Their first adventure. The Chunkling story really kicks off when they try to tackle their very first mission. Now, this isn't a battle with an evil mastermind. It's not a showdown with a monster terrorizing the city. Nope. It's much smaller, much simpler, but no less important. They spot a cat stuck up in a tree. And just like that, the Chunklings decide it's time to put their unusual abilities to the test. What happens next is pure chaos, but also pure delight. The Chunkling who makes it rain? They try to water the grass to soften the landing in case the cat jumps, but they only end up soaking themselves. The glowing one? They shine so brightly that the cat gets a little confused, like it's staring at the world's strangest flashlight. The glitter sneezer? Well, one sneeze later, and the whole tree is covered in sparkling confetti. Imagine the poor cat, blinking through a blizzard of rainbow sparkles, wondering what on earth just happened. And yet, somehow, through all the frosted branches, soggy fur, and nacho-scented chaos, yes, nachos are involved, don't ask how, the cat is rescued. The Chunklings did it. Not gracefully, not smoothly, and definitely not like the heroes in comic books. But they did it their way. And that's where the magic lies. Section 3. The message beneath the mess. Now let's pause for a second. On the surface, this might just sound like a funny, sparkly, goofy little story about creatures with silly powers. But Diane Alber is doing something much deeper here. This book is really about what it means. It's about how every single person, no matter how unusual their talents, no matter how small their contribution, has something to offer. Think about it. Maybe you can't run the fastest, but you make people laugh. Maybe you're not the loudest voice in the room, but you notice the details that others miss. Maybe you don't have the kind of talent that wins trophies, but you have the kind of kindness that saves friendships. That's what the Chunklings is all about. It's a reminder that your quirks aren't flaws, they're features. In fact, Diane Alber suggests that sometimes the very things we feel embarrassed about, the things that make us feel out of place, are actually the things that make us most valuable. Section 4. Humor plus heart. One of the reasons this book works so well is because it balances humor with heart. Kids love it because it's silly. I mean, who wouldn't giggle at the idea of sneezing glitter or making everything smell? But parents, teachers, and older readers love it because it carries that deeper message. It opens the door for conversations about self-esteem, about embracing individuality, about teamwork. Because here's another truth the Chunklings show us. Even though each of their powers might seem useless on their own, together they actually do make a difference. It's teamwork in the most unlikely form. And isn't that just like real life? We're not meant to do everything alone. We need each other. Quirks, flaws, glitter, rain clouds, nacho-scented chaos, and all. Section 5. Reflection for listeners. Now, let me turn this to you, the listener. Think for a moment. What's your chunkling power? What's that one thing about you that might seem odd, silly, or even inconvenient, but that could actually be your superpower in disguise? Is it your ability to tell jokes that lighten the mood? Is it your knack for remembering small details? Is it the way you're always calm when others panic? Drop your chunkling power in the comments. I'd love to hear them. Because when we start celebrating those unique little traits, we create a world where everyone feels like they belong. Section 6. Bigger picture. Why kids need stories like this. Books like The Chunklings matter, especially for kids growing up in a world that's obsessed with perfection, comparison, and flashy success. Too often, children feel pressure to be the best at something. The best athlete, the best student, the most popular. But what about being the kindest, the most creative, the one who makes the group laugh when things get tough? That's why stories like this are so powerful. They remind kids, and adults too, that value isn't measured by how big your contribution is. It's measured by how authentic, how genuine, and how much heart you bring to the table. Section 7. Final thoughts. So, what can we take away from the Chunklings, the not-so-superheroes? Superpowers don't have to make sense. Sometimes the strangest abilities, like sneezing glitter, can still make the world better. You don't have to save the world to be a hero. Rescuing a cat, making a friend smile, or brightening someone's day counts just as much. Your quirks are your strength. What makes you different is exactly what makes you valuable. Teamwork turns not enough into more than enough. Together, even silly powers can do something amazing. And maybe, just maybe, the world doesn't need more perfect superheroes. Maybe it just needs more chunkling. If you enjoyed this dive into Diane Alber's The Chunklings, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more book-inspired reflections, and share this with someone who could use a reminder that their quirks are secretly superpowers. And tell me in the comments, if you could have one Chunkling-style not-so-superpower, what would it be? Would you want to sneeze glitter? Glow in daylight, or make it rain only on yourself? Or do you have a totally new one in mind? Because at the end of the day, whether you glow, sneeze, or sparkle, the world needs exactly what you bring. Thanks for listening, and remember, sometimes the silliest powers make the most meaningful difference.